Do still have an opportunity to run something a bit left field, like a position 5 AA. That is still available, and they don't really have a position 5 to go to yet. Now, I'm not sure how comfortable Empyrean feels on the position 5 AA. I don't believe we've actually seen him play it throughout the games we have casted Simply 2 base, so maybe not so comfortable, but I think it may pay off here if Simply 2 base can go that route. Mind you, it's not the greatest laning duo along with the Troll, and for now they're going to go for the mid Storm Spirit anyway, so just wanting to lock that in for I Annihilate. Fair enough. Undying, I mean, you look at the way they're drafting, John, they're not even thinking about their picks, they're just going with whatever they want. Still yet to use a second of reserve time, so you can kind of tell that Undying are feeling very confident in this game number 2, and so they should. Whereas Simply 2 base, they are spending a bit more time trying to make their picks and bans. We'll see what their last ban is going to be, as they are still banning out mid-heroes. So maybe assuming that this is going to be a safe lane Morphling, they get rid of the Puck, they get rid of the Invoker. And Undying, they actually banned out that position 5 AA themselves. Looks like they're just going to focus in on another position 5 here for Empyrean. Is there anything else that catches your eye that 2base could go for in the 5 role that would change the game for them?
I Not necessarily. It's more of comfort picks for Empyrean. The Witch Doctor stays in the pool if they want to fall back to it. Maldic can be pretty effective against Morph, especially if he's already fully strength morphed up. You can deal some nice scaling damage on him as you drop his HP. So that could be one way to get it done here for 2 base. Gives them some sustain as well to help with their own push and help in their own team fights if they want to. So I guess the Witch Doctor's an option. Otherwise, nothing really stands out. Maybe something like the Nyx is going to be annoying, but Nyx Rubik as a support duo can be a bit greedy as well, especially the Pause 5 Nyx. You need some EXP up to hit your level 6 and start roaming around. If you can, then maybe you lock the Morphling in, stun him up before he can start morphing his strength up, and you can burst him down from that way. Of course, Nyx can also somewhat build into a Spirit Vessel, as there's no natural carrier here from 2-base, so they need something on maybe the 5 roll that can do that, or you diverge on your Rubik or Storm. It's not ideal on either of these heroes to go for that. So regardless of the pick, I think the Morphling's still gonna have a good time. You just don't have anything that naturally drops that HP regen that the Morphling is going to shift to, and that the Undying can abuse. Like, think about the Morphling Undying lane. You go full Agi, you get Soul Ripped, you're back to full HP, and you can just go back to last hitting. So the sustain is there from Undying very early on.
I agree. You can see Simply 2base, they are heavily thinking about this last pickup. I think this is going to be a very hard pick to make. I mean, Witch Doctor doesn't look that amazing either. They're going to try with a Phoenix, which is something very different for Simply 2base, but it does add a bit more team fight. It kind of makes you decide whether you want to go for the egg, risk getting ravaged while you're trying to go for the egg as well. You do still go up against the Morphling, though. That can make it a little bit challenging. Morphling can generally burst down the egg quite fast, and you have a way to break the distance with Waveform. And of course, Undying still have the last pick to make, so they could still pick up a mid pickup here that could just burst the egg down. Nothing really comes to mind quite yet, but I'm sure Undying will find something for themselves to make sure that that egg is crossed out throughout these team fights. We'll see what
I
Brawl
mean,
feels like playing like.
they could look at something like Lena if they're worried about the egg. Good right-click damage coming out. You don't really care for fire spirits for the most part, and you can hit from a mile away. And laning against the storm is all right, but we haven't seen core Lena all too often. It's still a decent option, especially since it does give you burst for the troll as well. Void spirits in the pool if you just don't care about the egg and you just want a good laner. Really potent against the storm. We've seen that back and forth, and you can take control early
Wow.
on. They go with the DK instead, which I suppose is one way to deal with the egg, and it's just it's a great closeout from Undying. It's tanky. It gives him additional push with her Shadow Shaman here. You don't have the ways of stopping this HP regen from coming through from any of these heroes. You will rely a lot on getting good position on Empyrean, not just for the egg, but to get some good sun rays off, to heal your troll, and to get some nice percentage damage on these tanky heroes. Lots of pressure on Empyrean to ensure he finds that location in these fights. But Undying, this is a confident draft from them. They blitz through the picks, they blitz through the bans. I think it's looking good for them. Their combinations are solid. We see the Mars Shadow Shaman once more. Morphling Undying is actually a pain to deal with. And that does take away the potency of that Tide Rubik, because you can't necessarily go up for the Anchor Smash on the Morphling. You can still get the Fade Bolt off, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue for Tomato. So we'll have to see what TOOBASED can do. But on draft, I'd have to say Undying are actually looking really good. TOOBASED, it's the same issue here for them. Not only do they not have a natural way of dealing with Morph, but they constrain themselves to cooldown. So Ravage and Egg are what they have to play around as the game goes on. And those are not up often enough to counteract how aggressive Undying can be with their own cooldowns.
No, I do agree with that, John, and I'm seeing the same thing here from Undying as well. With that Dragon Knight, I'm almost predicting they're going to go for a very early mid-tier 1 tower again. Of course, the Dragon form going to make it very easy for them to do that. And on top of that, if Moon Meander can get an early level 6 timing and get his wards up, it's going to be that much easier. And I'm kind of predicting already that that's going to be the game plan. Just take the mid-tier 1 tower and then just take over the map. Don't allow Boris to farm up on the troll, which is what they did to him last game on the PA. Just never allowing him to get online. And while Boris has something that can fight a bit earlier, the troll does at least want one kind of farming core item before he does... It does maybe get involved, right? You want the Battle Fury or you want the Maelstrom up before you do anything. And if you can get rid of these towers early, he's probably going to have a very, very tough time again.
Yeah, it's some pressure on Boris to have that better lane, and we'll see if TOOBASED can secure that start for him. Undying, you mentioned it, but they are going to look for the aggression. They'll play around that first Dragon form to try and melt that mid-tier 1 once more. And they've just got so much sustain. I just don't know what you do against Morphling Undying. Doobie does have Solar Decay level 1, of course, as you tend to see. And this kind of aggressive movement out with a tri-lane start down bot to secure the rune. If someone missteps, you've got good control, good damage, and they're going to get really squishy really fast. They do plant that same ward, and it was not counteracted in the last game, so they're going to get the same value from that ward as they did last time. You at least have the space to get a nice forward ward here as well for TOOBASED, so they should be able to contest those pults a little bit better, and this should allow Flea to go for his own pults if necessary.
Say, with the point I was making as well, John, I think it was Jenkins the other day who made a video about pushing in that mid-tier 1 tower early and basically winning the game just by doing that. Should check that out if you are looking to gain some MMR. The man does tend to help quite a bit with his videos in gaming MMR. Actually made quite a bit myself, John, just watching his videos. Shout out to Jenkins.
Oh yeah. If only Jenkins' teeth were fixed for every Arkosh game, you know? He always seems to have some dental issues late into the night, so I hope he gets that checked. Still,
I mean,
we can check out our own lanes.
You are the toothpaste man, John, so maybe you can give him some tips.
That's true. Checking out those lanes, you can see the early aggression for Moon Meander, just diving Boris, getting the Ether Shock off. Not going to hold this tri-lane for too long, so Boris should have some space to breathe. Saberlight is there to join Moon Meander, of course, and it's that same lane we saw last time. We'll see how effective it is this time around. Top lane, though, for TOOBASED, they are running an early tri-lane, but you don't want to do this against an Undying. And I feel like Empyrean's going to have to leave sooner rather than later, and he does. So realizing it's kind of moot, just has to bail out of here.
There was another point that Jenkins actually made, just starting off with the tri-lane in the off-lane of the Radiant. But yeah, definitely with Phoenix Rubik up against Undying, you're not really going to get a first blood anyway. May as well just leave them be. So Empyrean back down to the bot lane to help out Boris. Of course, you've also got the mid lane where Brawl and I Annihilate are going to be up against each other. For now, Brawl is struggling quite a bit in terms of HP, and as I look away, the top lane is where the first blood occurs. Dubu does end up getting it on the Undying, and that was just a level 1 Undying getting that kill, by the way. Just purely spamming Decay.
Yeah, and this is why Tidehunter does not enjoy that lane. He's a strength hero. He is not that tanky against magic damage. He is not that tanky even against physical damage as well. So if Doobie just closes the gap, gets a couple of decays off, you do not necessarily win that trade. And Monkeys has to be a bit cautious. Doobie would not mind dying here if he does overstep. Like, he's wasted all his mana, probably doesn't want to pop his mangoes. He does pop his clarity though, and they're not really able to punish the Undying. Like, he's empty now, but there's not much a level 1 Rubik can do to stop the Undying from just trying to passively regen.
Flea really wants to cancel that clarity. Dubu's still hiding. Now will show himself. Won't really mind. He already got quite a bit of value out of that clarity, and he just wants to make sure that Flea does not get any chance to pull that large camp. This is a really bad lane for the Rubik. I mean, you really just can't do anything. You think you can harass the Undying, but you actually really can't. He'll just walk up to you and hit you over and over again, and Flea, he's got the Windlace, but he's still got a lower movement speed than Dubu with the Windlace. Dubu can just keep running him down over and over again.
Yeah, and that's a tough start. You want to ideally pull the wave, rebalance the lane as it's shoved in, and get some XP going for yourself as well, and try to give Monkeys a little bit more to play with, but it's just not the case. They're not slowing down Tomato as much. Monkeys is still stuck at half the last hits on that Tide. At least they get the lift on Dubu, but he can just TP home. He had a Mango, so not going to be a big issue. Just goes back to the tier 1 and just gets back to it.
Yeah. Bot lane looking pretty similar to last game as well, John. Saberlight having a very nice time on the Mars. Boris doing okay, but he's not really able to pressure Saberlight away from the lane. That's something you like to do as a troll, is put a lot of pressure on the opposing offlaner, but that isn't really the case. It just always seemed like Moomiander is able to get that large pull into the creep wave, and now they go for a nice easy shackle. Spear is there. Saberlight might actually be able to get this kill as Boris does get knocked back, but Empyrean is going to go for the dive to slow down Saberlight, and that's going to be enough. But they will force out the salve usage. And while that's happening, up at top lane, Flea is going to die. This time to Dubu on the Undying. That'll be the second kill for Dubu now.
And he's just working this Undying really well. Flea just not able to get much done. At the least, your Tide is not dying here, but he's not finding last hits as well. Dubu is soaking a little bit more from lane, but when you find kills like that, you kind of compensate for the fact that you are actually just getting your own EXP up. Level 3 now in the Undying, major spike. Dubu's just constantly pocketing one level to ensure that he could go for Soul Rip if needed, and he could go for a more aggressive build if need be as well. So, still looking good here for Undying. You can see Monkeys trying to get aggression off onto Tomato, but level 4 on Morphling does mean attribute shift is a lot faster, so you can't really kill off that hero.
Yeah, there's no chance. Unless Tomato makes a mistake, he's not dying. Gets salved up by Dubu as well. No Soul Rip on Dubu, so he can't really abuse that morph heal, but he won't mind. Salve is just as good. And once again, we'll just focus on chasing down Monkeys forever, and trying to be as annoying as humanly possible on that Undying. The fun part about Undying is you don't mind trading with the enemy, right? As long as they're wasting mana in their own HP regen, you really don't care. We see Monkeys just being chased down now. Is even Annihilate was fighting with Bryle over the bounty rune, but it looks like the Storm was able to pick it up. Bryle unable to deny it away from that Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and that helps out Annihilate a fair bit. He is keeping up with Bryle, so it's a very even lane, as we mentioned, just not too much scuffling, although Dubu's still chasing Flea around. It's not fun to be Flea right now. Like, definitely not.
This just sucks for Flea. Mid lane, Dragon form is going to be popped by Bryle, so he wants to start getting some damage out, and Dubu's doing the same thing, John. Look at this. Siege creep there, he's going to drop the Tombstone. While that's happening down a bot lane, Moonmeander, he might die. He's been slowed up. Moon is going to get hit and does eventually go down, while Saberlight will continue to chase Boris, but now Dubu might die to Annihilate as he does get Flea, but Bryle is going to hold back Annihilate. They will still be able to get the trade, but that tier 1 mid tower at the exact same time is going down to the Siege creep. And I have a feeling Bryle is going to be able to protect the Siege creep all the way. Here comes Moon now.
Yep.
They're just going to tank it. The creep wave, is it going to make it in time? Will they glyph it up? They just glyph the creep wave. They make sure it survives. More rotations coming in. Here comes Annihilate on the Storm trying to get Moon Meander. But Bryle is going to come right back in now with the Dragon Tail. And the Shackles is also there. Moon holding down Annihilate. The Fire Spirit's not going to be enough to save him. On the brighter side, they do get the Siege creep down, but look at the tower HP, John. It's 192 now. The next Dragon form, Bryle's got it. There's no saving it.
No, definitely not. And It's a tough spot now for TOOBASED. They lose Annihilate. He needed a good start in the Storm to start snowballing as the hero tends to. They can't even find Moon Meander. Really good solar up coming out there from Dubu to save the day. And while these supports are gone from the side lanes, they can't do anything about it. Like, you can see Boris still struggling against Saberlight. He is slightly ahead now in EXP, but the last hits are all still flying towards this Mars, so he's going to have that stable build-up. Monkeys Forever is still off to that slow start. Is finding more than last time, though. So he does have the Morbid Mass coming in. He can sustain himself in the jungle, but down mid again. They're going for it.
Yeah, they're going to commit. The best you can ask for right now is to get the deny off. Zip in, Annihilate, going to go after Dubu, but he does drop the Tombstone. Brawl now more than happy to fight with the Tombstone, and they'll go straight onto Flea. They'll get another kill for themselves. And the worst part about that, John, is simply TOOBASED did not deny the tier 1 either. They tried to go for the kill, and well, they just lose another hero, plus give the gold away. Just everything going wrong for simply TOOBASED.
Yeah, and they don't even have rune control. So they have Undying spots out all the power runes as well. We haven't gotten a power rune refill for Annihilate, which feels terrible on Storm. And they've already pressured that bot tier 1 as well. It's gone for the most part. Saberlight has it with a siege creep. So they're just getting all the pressure once more and hitting the same timings as well.
Yeah, Flea going to come in with Empyrean, back after Dubu, but it's an Undying you're trying to kill off. He's a tanky boy, and now Moon Meander back in with the Hex. They do actually get the Undying kill, but how many rotations have they forced out into this mid lane? This is not where TOOBASED want to be. They need to be pushing out the other lanes right now. Just look at Tomato. That top tier 1 now going down. It's literally the same story as last game. Monkeys, it's caught out by the shackles. Kraken Shell will protect for a bit. He's actually got the Morbid Mask to keep him up a little bit longer now on the Tide, but Tomato looks like he is dead set on getting that tier 1. And the rest of Undying are slowly but surely making their way over. In fact, Boris actually gets a nice pickup down to the bot lane. Saberlight ends up dying. There's a rotation there from Annihilate, but they're losing so much across the map.
They definitely are. They spot out these stacks as well, so you know Undying's going to look for that next, and they get control.
Shackles there, Kraken not kicking in yet, and it's not going to matter. Brawl has the damage. They're trying to focus the Tombstone, and they will be able to get it, but Empyrean may lose his life because of this, and does. A double kill out for Brawl now on the DK, and the Ancients are now officially theirs.
That was their bounce back opportunity in TOOBASED. They don't have control of the triangle because those tier 1s fell so fast. So they're going to have to give this gold away once more towards the side of Undying. 4-7, 4k lead. They are still looking to fight though. They've got Ravage.
But they're going to do something. They can't let this happen. It's a bit too late now, but they've still got some large creeps if they want. Boris is going to rotate. They'll get the slow off on Bryle with the Sun Ray. It's a lot of damage. Soul Rip comes in, but it looks like Bryle is going to be left to die. And so they get something for their trouble. A lot of gold going the way of Monkeys Forever. And they do still have those large creeps to take, so at least you have those.
Yeah, it's making the best out of a bad situation here for the side of TOOBASED. They can at least get some steady farm from that, and giving that gold to Monkeys helps him save up, perhaps for his Vlads, perhaps for his Blink, whatever he wants to itemize to. They are still getting some decent opportunities. Boris is actually saving up for an early defusal, so he knows he can't just sit back and farm this time. He wants to be ready to fight. That should be something Undying plays around and gets ready for. They are still getting that steady gold for Tomato. He's actually almost got his Yules, and they do have a smoke play for a top.
Yeah. Wherever Boris goes, they want to go. But Annihilate actually kills off Saberlight. Nice pick off there, but now Boris, all alone, without a tier 1 tower nearby, is going to die. And Boris, I mean, you can't really safely farm there without a tier 1. He's trying to push out the lane and at least get some CS going, but it's very, very difficult when you've got no way for your team to rotate over to help you out in case that happens.
Yeah, I mean, they at least find this kill on Saberlight, but for Undying, I don't think that matters as long as they keep this troll down. It's been a very slow game once more for Boris. You are building up an Annihilate. This Orchid timing should still be there soonish, maybe 2-3 minutes depending, although...
Good. Gonna get the shackles, or rather Hex and wards down. Now the shackles comes out, but the Ravage is gonna be there into the egg. This is a great team fight now for TOOBASED. They kill off Moon Meander. A zip in as well from Annihilate straight onto Dubu, getting rid of that Undying, or not yet. The Soul Rip is not going to last too long as he does die. Empyrean does also go down to the Phoenix. The TOOBASED, if they leave now, do get the better side of the trade. But Bryal is going to keep going. Onto the Troll, there's your arena drop by Saberlight, and that'll be a dead Troll. And suddenly it is not so worth.
No. It's 2 supports for a support and your safe lane core. It's not worthwhile. They just don't have control in the triangle. We've seen TOOBASED across 2 games try to fight around this area, and it has not worked out well. I mean, they do have ward control in this area now, but the aggression from Undying just so hard to face off against. And since they pop Ravage and Egg, they're gonna have to wait for those 2 spells to be back up before they can make a move. So they've got opportunities in Flee.
He waveformed right into Saberlight. Does at least take... Oh, he's got the Bulwark, so it's not really that great. Bill Monkey's going to join in again. But this is one of the real strengths of Undying, just being able to force so many heroes into a position they don't want to be in. And then not giving them anything anyway. Just a lot of wasted time for TOOBASED. They're going to return to their own Radiant side jungle. But this could be just as dangerous as Dubu pops the Tombstone. Almost daring them to try and start a fight. He'll get the D-ward off. The rest of the team from Undying does start rotating. More D-wards to come from Dubu. TOOBASED seems to know something is awry here, but Saberlight, a great spear onto Flea, and they just can't save him. There is no way. Without a Ravage now walking in, Monkeys Forever is probably going to get punished. His path has been blocked off by Serpent Wards and even the waveform in by Tomato. He has a Yule Scepter up on the Morphling.
Yep. He's had it for a while, and it is paying off. He's just setting up for Saberlight because Saberlight opted for the Blink. So this is just team play coming out from him. Of course, helps him out with mana regen to get his burst damage off. He didn't even go for a value point in Morph. Like, why do you need it? You've got stronger combinations to play with. You can set up now, find the lockdown, and Undying just keep widening that gap. 8k lead, 8-13. Dota Plus now at 94% the way of Undying. TOOBASED, this defusal is very close for Boris. It doesn't feel like enough. I think he wants a fast BKB now as well. And you do have the Orchid still being lined up for Annihilate. That one's still about 900 gold off. So very close to hitting some item spikes. They just need to find some space out, but they're always getting caught out still. They do have Ravage backup. They do have Egg backup. If they do get jumped now, they've got some opportunities to play into that.
They do. Battleroon's going to spawn up. TOOBASED sticking as a team towards the top. They'd love to at least get a tier 1 tower for themselves. It's like Moon Meander's going to stick around and just wait and see what happens. He's prepared for a team fight if necessary. Already with the Aether Lens up. He had that about 3 minutes ago, in fact.
Oh, nice scan. They know everyone's there.
That they do. Smoke up, Undying. Would love to start with Annihilate. Definitely a big target. Monkeys, he's going to walk in. He does have the Ravage, but Brawl right in onto the Troll with the Spear round. There's going to be no battle trance in time. They pop the egg, but it's not going to matter. They'll burst it immediately. And Flea, he's trying to run. Zombies are just chasing him, and Moon Meander will hex him up. Monkeys Forever never even got the Ravage off. Maybe a bit of miscoordination there as you pop the egg, but you don't pop the Ravage. There's no BKBs up yet either on Undying, so it's not like anything was there to block off the Ravage, but it kind of looks like they understood they'd already lost the team fight once it started. Once they had lost that Troll, and Undying now going to get a very free Roshan for themselves. And Tomato is going to have the shotgun up any second.
Yeah, this is a scary time now for TOOBASED. 2 lives on Tomato. He has not been under any pressure this game as well, so he's just able to get what he wants done. They catch one more. Boris again.
They've got Boris. The mid lane, one of the more dangerous lanes to farm in. Probably thinking he's safe by the tier 2 tower, but with a 10k net worth deficit, you are never going to be safe.
No. It's a difficult one, right? Like, he does have the defusal, but again, it's just not enough. He needs a BKB next. They've got the Orchid up in their storm. Maybe Annihilate can start ripping through the backlines, find a pick off first, and then clean up afterwards. Perhaps, but it's just so much control. He needs a BKB as well, and you can see Annihilate is trying to queue that up. They are going to force a fight here, but looks like Undying is smart enough to just back off, knowing that the triangle does have a ward, or having a sense of it, so they pull out at the right time. They could easily go back though. Like, they've still got Aegis, Arena's back up. They only lack really the Dragon form, and that's going to be up in a few seconds as well.
Well, they've got the diffusal on the Orchid up, so they might be able to try and go for a smoke here, TOOBASED. There is one sitting there on Empyrean. Pings out onto Tomato, but he does have Aegis and Yule, so you can't keep him silenced. Plus, you're going to have to kill him twice. He's off the map now anyway. And this smoke may have to come when Undying starts pushing in that tier 2 bot tower. It looks like TOOBASED may decide to just push in the tier 1 top instead, but obviously that's not going to be a very even trade at all. And if they do all commit to the tier 1 push, then those items are going to be spotted out. And it's not really going to be much of a surprise at all for Undying.
No, they should be seeing it now. And it looks like they will seed out the top tier 1 in this case. So Undying just don't need to fight into that. They just want to pressure the bot tier 3. And at least you find a tower here for TOOBASED, but now they have to come in for the defense.
Yep, tier 3 tower under siege. 11k net worth lead. Blink now up on Monkeys forever, so he does have Blink Ravage up. Still no BKBs on the side of Undying, so it's a great time to go in for the Ravage, and he does commit now onto all 5 heroes, and they're going to burst down Saberline. The shotgun already there on Boris with the Hex out. He's going to go down to the Troll. Tomato literally going 4v1, and he's going to get the egg anyway. Nice Ravage, but there's just no follow-up to it. Bryle now with the Dragon Tail will force out some buybacks to try and protect Flea. Sunray there as well. Maybe they can kill off Bryle, but he's going to survive. In fact, now he has the BKB up. They can't really kill him. They'll at least get Moon Meander on the Shaman. And Undying maybe forced to back as they need a bit of a reset, or maybe not. Back in after the storm, they blow him up. Boris goes for the Battle Trance onto the DK, and they do also get the Aegis off of the Morph. But Tomato is going to be back. There goes Bryle, but there also goes Flea. Tomato now will waveform out. It's going to be alright. Dubu also soul ripping himself up with the Glimmer Cape, is going to be able to survive, and Monkeys is going to be in trouble again. He's still chasing him down, but now the Arena is going to be there to protect Dubu and not protect Monkeys, who is just stuck and dead. Boris is going to try and run, but the shotgun is going to be up very soon. Looks like Tomato won't go in for the commitment all the way. Now Annihilate trying to zip in after Saberlight, but will not be able to catch out the Mars.
I guess you could call that successful defense for TOOBASED. They did have to buy back in a couple of heroes, but they hold on to their racks. So Undying are going to have to try again. They lost the Aegis. You do have to respect of that fight potential, although...
Yeah, he's found the Rubik again, ignoring the Sunray. Empyrean just going to get blown up by Tomato. Water hurts, John. Hurts a lot.
Oh, that does. It really does. And they're going to be able to push in that mid-tier 2 once the creep wave comes in. They can just look to a new lane, get the damage off. They know Ravage is down for at least half a minute more. So there's not going to be that opportunity to take the big team fight anymore. They've still got the BKB riding here on the DK. That is a 9-second charge now. And they'll just go for it. Safe and steady push. Transition down bot for the racks though.
Zip in. Vortex is going to be there. Annihilate. Dodges out the spear. Jump in. Dragon Tail again onto Boris. And they just blow him up. No chance for a Battle Trance. I'd hate to say it's over, John. But I think it's looking pretty over.
Yeah, it looks like the same situation from game 1. They do have Ravage. Maybe get a good team fight first if Monkeys lives.
Probably not, though. Kraken does kick in, but he cannot survive the damage output from Tomato. Sunray maybe could kill off Saberlight, but nope. Doesn't last long enough, and Dubu will heal him up anyway. Zip in again. Annihilate. Some nice damage there. Of course, he has to zip back to avoid the Hex of Moon Meander. Another zip in. Looks like Undying, they've had enough. Just going back for a reset. They still do have that that one outer tower up the top lane to take down as well. Looks like we had a quick pause, but it may have been a bit of a misclick. They just continue.
Yeah. You are still building up here Undying. SNY being saved up by Tomato. Just waiting for the Sanch to fly in. Same thing here for Bryle, waiting for his Sanch to come out. Just to have that durability, maybe to disarm down the line. The TOOBASED, they still have Ravage, so they will smoke up. They're going to try to force a play. They've got the egg on top of that. We have seen them take 1 or 2 fights with that combination. We'll see if they find that opening, as Undying are way too far back now, and there's no forward vision here from TOOBASED to really scout that out.
No, there is not. Gonna try. Picking the Roshan pit, but it's got a while till it's back up. There's also a counter smoke here from Undying, moving into that Radiant jungle now, but both teams are going to avoid each other completely. It's like the circle was drawn out there. They know exactly where they are. So Undying are slowly going to start making their way over. TP's coming in. A lot of TP's coming in.
They smoked again.
They're TOOBASED. He's gonna jump, zip in. Ravage is huge, and they might be able to get them this time. Egg is down. Vortex is there on Saberline. He'll drop the arena, but the egg has exploded, and they will kill off Saberline. Dubu now trying to run away. Sunray still dealing damage, but he's gonna survive as Boris will keep going, but Tomato is gonna get the kill onto the troll. Monkeys is gonna be the second to go down, and I annihilate at least zips and TPs away. It still works out in the favor of Undying.
Look at the flea. A little baby dragon trying to run away. It's so tiny. But yeah, that was Ravager Egg. They only find the offlaner. That's their biggest pickoff, and Moon Meander on the 4. Not quite enough to say that's a win, but it is something. You know, you're building up in the storm. Now you have to contend with a high ground defense without those spells. That is going to be very tough, especially since there's still a DD running on Tomato. Take that tier 3 mid, and they pull back, knowing that they need a bit of a reset, waiting for some heroes to come in. They've still got control on the map, 20k up, 13 to 30 here, as they are just saving up for the BKB on Tomato, and they can look for that top tier 2 you mentioned. Just take out that last outer tower, try to force something out. TOOBASED though, need to wait for Ravage, still a minute 10 away. Egg is about 40 seconds away, so you are starting to get some fights go out when you do use those spells. It's a decent enough smoke, but they just have to wait, and that's really where TOOBASED Raph falls flat. They just constantly have to wait for Ravage to really win out.
He's forever. Smoke broken. Bryle's going to see him. Monkeys is going to be able to blink away, but Bryle is going to blink straight towards him. TOOBASED just running as a team, but Saberlight going to catch him out with a nice spear. Gotta be Monkeys gone. Lee, Arena, gonna break the tree line. It does miss, but they won't mind. Lee will get the tip there for Monkeys. He will go down as well. Domination again from Undying. On the brighter side for TOOBASED, John, the game is lasting a little bit longer, but it's not looking too good.
It's not looking much better than game 1 here. They're trying to split the farm for Boris. He might be spotted though in the triangle.
Bryle, yeah, he's gonna get the stun off. They even got the Hex just in case. That'll be his TP cancelled. He can battle trance. He's not gonna. He'll just accept the fact that he's dead and hold on to the battle trance for the next high ground defense. That should be starting very soon.
Yeah, at least TOOBASED hold out long enough that Ravage is back up with Egg. So they do have an opportunity to save these mid-racks, maybe find a couple of big kills. Undying though, again, they've got BKBs. They can't just force in and
Got a Hex off onto Flea, and he is probably going to get blown. There you go. Nice and easy for Undying. That'll be the mid-racks going. Monkeys. Pump faking Ravage right now. And he's going to get jumped on. Bryle does not like the look of that, and that is going to be a blown up Monkeys forever. He'll buy back. He's going to try and go for this. Ravage is pretty nice. Into the egg once again, and Annihilate zipping right through, but they're going to focus the egg down. Monkeys is gone with a dieback, and that'll be enough, I think. You've got to call it after this. Bryle stuns up the troll again into the shackles, and they've had it. GG is called. Undying taking a 2-0 victory in just under an hour. They are looking as dominant as ever.
That they are. TOOBASED still not looking too good since the roster shuffle affected them. They tried their best, but Undying, of course, these guys were that close to getting to a major, and you can see the difference in caliber of teams. TOOBASED, this is a peak for them into that NA upper div. They're going to have to readjust themselves going into that new playing field, but Undying just showing up, making it look like a walk in the park. Very well played from them, just taking control, hitting those same timings from game one, Mike, the mid-tier one, the bot tier one, then the top tier one, all at the same time. And TOOBASED will just have to look back at this and learn from it. Get their defense online, maybe change up their picks for Monkeys. The Tide, it's just way too much of a cooldown to play against a team like Undying.
It is. Now with that, John, we do get to move on to our second series of the day, and that's going to be a very interesting one as well. We actually have Pent Ace up against the Cut. Of course, the Cut, another team that's qualified from the lower division to the upper division. They'll have their chance to go up against Pent Ace and see how they do perform. So it'll be a bit of a similar matchup. With that, of course, it is going to be roughly 10 to 15 minutes before we do get that series started. But it is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you as soon as that Game 1 draft does begin.